This is TechCrunch.
When we talk about the cost of AI infrastructure, the focus is usually on Nvidia and GPUs. But memory is an increasingly important part of the picture. As hyperscalers prepare to build out billions of dollars worth of new data centers, the price for DRAM chips has jumped roughly 7 times in the last year. At the same time, there's a growing discipline in orchestrating all that memory to make sure the right data gets to the right agent at the right time. The companies that master it will be able to make the same queries with fewer tokens, which can be the difference between folding and staying in business. Semiconductor analyst Dan O'Loughlin has an interesting look at the importance of memory chips on his Substack, where he talks with Val Bercovici, Chief AI Officer at Weka. They're both semiconductor guys, so the focus is more on the chips than the broader architecture. The implications for AI software are pretty significant too. I was particularly struck by this passage, in which Bercovici looks at the growing complexity of Anthropic's prompt caching documentation. The tell is if we go to Anthropic's prompt caching pricing page. It started off as a very simple page 6 or 7 months ago, especially as Claude Code was launching. Just use caching, it's cheaper. Now it's an encyclopedia of advice on exactly how many cache writes to pre-buy. You've got 5-minute tiers, which are very common across the industry, or 1-hour tiers, and nothing above. That's a really important tell. Then, of course, you've got all sorts of arbitrage opportunities around the pricing for cache reads based on how many cache writes you've pre-purchased. The question here is how long Claude holds your prompt in cached memory. You can pay for a 5-minute window, or pay more for an hour-long window. It's much cheaper to draw on data that's still in the cache, so if you manage it right, you can save an awful lot. There is a catch though. Every new bit of data you add to the query may bump something else out of the cache window. This is complex stuff, but the upshot is simple enough. Managing memory in AI models is going to be a huge part of AI going forward. Companies that do it well are going to rise to the top, and there is plenty of progress to be made in this new field. Back in October, I covered a startup called TensorMesh that was working on one layer in the stack known as cache optimization. Opportunities exist in other parts of the stack. For instance, lower down the stack, there's the question of how data centers are using the different types of memory they have. Higher up the stack, end users are figuring out how to structure their model swarms to take advantage of the shared cache. As companies get better at memory orchestration, they'll use fewer tokens, and inference will get cheaper. Meanwhile, models are getting more efficient at processing each token, pushing the cost down still further. As server costs drop, a lot of applications that don't seem viable now will start to edge into profitability. The European Parliament has reportedly blocked lawmakers from using the baked-in AI tools on their work devices, citing cybersecurity and privacy risks with uploading confidential correspondence to the cloud. Per an email seen by Politico, the Parliament's IT department said it could not guarantee the security of the data uploaded to the servers of AI companies, and that the full extent of what information is shared with AI companies is still being assessed. As such, the email said, it is considered safer to keep such features disabled. Uploading data to AI chatbots like Anthropic's Claude, Microsoft's Copilot, and OpenAI's ChatGPT, for example, means that US authorities can demand the companies that run the chatbots turn over information about their users. AI chatbots also typically rely on using information that users provide or upload to improve their models, increasing the chance that potentially sensitive information uploaded by one person may be shared and seen by other users. Europe has some of the strongest data protection rules in the world, but the European Commission, the executive body that oversees the 27-member state bloc, last year floated new legislative proposals aimed at relaxing its data protection rules to make it easier for tech giants to train their AI models on Europeans' data, drawing ire from critics who said the move caves in to US technology giants. The move to restrict European lawmakers from accessing AI products on their devices comes as several EU member countries reevaluate their relationships with US tech giants, which remain subject to U.S. law and the unpredictable whims and demands of the Trump administration. In recent weeks, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has sent hundreds of subpoenas demanding U.S. tech and social media giants turn over information about people, including Americans, who have been publicly critical of the Trump administration's policies. Google, Meta, and Reddit complied in several cases, even though the subpoenas had not been issued by a judge and were not enforced by a court. That's it from TechCrunch. For more stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.